Okay. Hello, everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an article from NBC News. Now, this was published on February 12th. It's written by Daniel Arkin. And all I got to say right before we get into this is this situation right now is beautiful. All right. You know, there's jokes about Trump being the Teflon Don. I think Gina Carano has got him beat. They keep coming after her, and she keeps coming out on top. It's beautiful. Gina Carano, actor ousted from The Mandalorian, to make a movie with The Daily Wire. And the funny thing is, they're actually going to try in this article to push the Jew bullshit when little Benny Shapiro, little 5'2" midget Shapiro, rhino neocon scumbag piece of shit, okay? As you can tell, I really don't like him. He's a scumbag. Is partnering up with her, okay? Is basically getting in the film business with her. This destroys their friggin' narrative. And what's funny is like on that note, okay, you have Dictor Von Doomcock, okay, that's the character's name that he does. It's a content creator. His channel's Overlord DVD on YouTube. Thousands of people in his comments are trying to explain to him that the narrative of like she was comparing Republicans to Jews or using the Holocaust in a reference, because she wasn't, is complete bullshit. And he was doubling and tripling down. And what gets me is like he had to make a second video. And he made it sound like he's trying to apologize for what he said, but he's not changing his stance or anything like that, because he's like talking about how she should have free speech. But then, out of one side of his mouth. And then the other side of his mouth, he's attacking her for supposedly making a comparison she never made. And people kept going, dude, this is not what she did. I hope this snaps him back to fucking reality with that one, because if she's making these quote-unquote abhorrent comments involving the Holocaust and Jews, comparing them to Republicans supposedly, why would a Jew, get in business with her? Little rhino, Israel first, shitbag, scumbag, waste of space, Benny Shapiro. Why would he do that? Okay. I mean, this is a guy who claims to be an American, but always puts Israel first. I think he's like uber Jew when that's the case. He doesn't have a problem with this. So obviously, they might want to change their narrative. And people like Dictor Von Doomcock, Mr. Doomcock over there, might want to get a clue. Anyway, let's look at the lead in here. The actor who has drawn intense criticism for a social media post will produce and star in a film for the conservative media company. Yeah, and the thing is getting in bed with Benny Shapiro, he's a sleazebag. He's a total piece of shit. I mean, when you get in bed with someone who's the rhino neocon equivalent of cancel culture because he didn't like the fact that Nick Fuentes exposed the fact of foreign interests buying off conservative groups and conservatives here in this country. And, he conspires with, Crenshaw, freaking eye patch man, to cancel culture Nick Fuentes and the Groypers for exposing that fact. You really can't trust him. So, I mean, she ought to look at the fact of, he's 5'2", 140 pounds soaking wet, and she's, still got her strength from, she's obviously not as jacked as she was, but she's still a strong woman. She better look at the fact of, like, when it comes to trusting him, not trusting him as far as she can throw that little 140 pound fucking panty waist. Because he's a sleazebag. But at least she's coming out on top here. She's coming out smelling like a rose. And the fact that Benny Shapiro is, getting into business with her destroys their narrative. Well, let's get into this article here that Daniel wrote. Because it's pretty bad. How, like, he actually tries to push the whole Holocaust thing and the whole comparing Republicans to Jews thing when she's literally getting into, a business relationship with an Orthodox Jew who has to be home by sunset on Friday. Yeah. Anyway, the Mandalorian actor Gina Carano, who has drawn intense criticisms for her post on social media, said Friday she would partner with the conservative media outlet, The Daily Wire, on a new film project. Excuse me, kind of needed a sip of a drink there. The announcement came 2 days after Lucasfilm, the Disney-owned company behind the Star Wars spin-off series, said it no longer employed Carano, who most recently compared hating someone for their political views to the persecution of Jews during the Holocaust in an Instagram post, which is not what she did. These people are so sleazy. What she did is she took, historical example. Prior to the Holocaust, had nothing to do with the Holocaust at that point. It was it was some of the, it was part of what paved the way and opened the door for the particular German political party to gain, power, and then to seize more power once it gained, got into power, and enact the Holocaust. But it wasn't the Holocaust itself, because you had irrational hate, you had propaganda, you had all these things going on before that particular political party had rose to power, where you had resentment towards Jews. You had people that were attacking Jews. This had nothing to do with the Holocaust or that particular political group at that point. This was from that time period. She's making an example because the Jews were being persecuted for their views, religious and political, along with the fact of being Jewish. This opened the door for that to be perpetuated and to continue and to grow. So she makes the example of how they're being persecuted for their views, and said, because they were also being dehumanized. And she brought up that fact of, in it, she alludes to it, about the fact of, you dehumanize someone and it goes from, attacking them in the streets to, you end up with the dehumanizing justifying worse and worse things that you can do to them, which, again, prior to the Holocaust, it led to it. She wasn't making a comparison to the Holocaust itself. And they're trying to push that. She's going into business with a Jew, and they're seriously trying to push that here. And it's ridiculous. She was talking about your neighbor, relatives, neighbors, friends, turning on people, which is what we have in this country, which is what happened in regards to the Jews prior to the Holocaust. But they're like, oh, Holocaust and Jews, because they know that they can trigger people. They know that they can cause a reaction. And this is exactly what happened with Doomcock. He didn't go and see what she actually said. He heard Holocaust, Jews, comparison with Republicans, and his brain just shut the fuck down. And he became like a retarded lefty spurg. His IQ dropped like 40 fucking points. And instead of being a man and saying, when he's got thousands of people going, dude, you fucked up, go read the shit. Or saying directly what she said, paraphrasing it, quoting it, telling him, and he has to double down, okay? Because he can't, at this point, I hate to say it, and if I ever get this way, I get big enough and I get this way, I hope someone wakes me the fuck up to it. But you get to the point where you have these content creators, because Doomcock has exposed a lot with Star Wars and Lucasfilm and Disney, okay? And even other movies, because he's got insiders. He's become high on his own farts. He can do no wrong. If I ever get like that, someone smack me in my fucking head. Wake me the hell up from that shit. Because he can't be a man and say, yeah, I fucked up. So he's got to talk out both sides of his mouth and still push the idea of what she said was stupid. When she didn't mention Republicans, she didn't mention conservatives, she didn't mention anyone. She basically was like the idea of, if your views are different than this group, you'll be persecuted for type of idea, which the idea of Jews. Okay, you have people like with the fandom menace, which he doesn't understand. All right, they're going for conservatives now. They're now going after libertarians too. When you've got, what was fucking Brennan? Shipwreck, bald fucking psycho looking Shipwreck. Former CIA head. Yeah, Brennan. Specifically saying that libertarians are a terror threat? Dude, you don't think the Phantom Menace is down the road? Libertarians are about freedom. They're about liberty. They're about the fact of minimal government. This is just beginning. And he doesn't understand that Carano's post, because it doesn't talk about left, right, conservative, Republican, or anything like that, applies to him. It applies to you. It applies to me. Because if you don't have the views that they want, they're going to expand the dehumanization of people. And you're going to fall on one of their lists to be dehumanized, to be silenced. But people don't get that. Anyway, the Daily Wire is helping to make one of my dreams, to develop and produce my own film, come true. I cried out, and my prayer was answered, Carano said in a statement to the Daily Wire, which was co-founded by the right-wing political commentator Benny Shapiro. Little Benny Shapiro, all 4'8" of him. Yeah, I think he's even shorter than 5'2" or whatever the hell I said before. He's like, he's like the idea of like a fucking midget that like had like the limb, extending thing. That's because he's a short little fucker. But yeah, I mean, this should tell you something. When a Jew gets into business with her, when they're trying to push she compared the Holocaust, how dare she virtue signal, that should tell you a lot. I'm sending out a direct message of hope to everyone living in fear of cancellation by the totalitarian mob. I have only just begun using my voice, which is now freer than ever before, and I hope it inspires others to do the same. They can't cancel us if we don't let them, she added. Oh, excuse me. And she's right. All right. She's right about that. Don't apologize. Unless you leftist mob, even if you're wrong, I hate to say it, you can't even apologize these days because they'll use it against you no matter what. But any other person type of situation, okay, to yourself, to your family, okay, if you're a content creator, to the people who subscribe to you, you fuck up, own up to it. Apologize. If I fuck up, I'll do that. Like the idea of like that whole idea. I mean, you have Soygon of retard, okay, Spurgon. He kept getting caught in gay op after gay op after gay op. And somehow, all right, not apologizing, he comes out smelling like a rose when he's like trying to label people kid diddlers and shit because they made fun of his suit that he thought he looked good in that he wore to European Parliament the first time. This is when it looked like he bought it off the rack at a Salvation Army thrift store and didn't even get the fucking thing pressed before he or dry cleaned or anything before he fucking wore it there. I mean, he looked like a complete disheveled mess. And he's like, he probably doesn't even own a suit. Like, to start the shit. And he didn't apologize, and he's still smelling like a rose. So, I mean, that's going to account for something. Don't apologize. If you fuck up, you should, though. I mean, leftist mob, you can't. But he won't even apologize to, like, people that were subbed to him that saw this shit went, dude, you fucked up. Because the flaming, the foaming at the mouth, frothing fucking Sargonite will like still want to suck his dick after, he fucking could do like the most abhorrent thing out there. They would still want to suck his dick. I mean, shit, V wants to suck his dick. I mean, that's his bottom bitch. And V is stuck with him through all that shit. He's been dragged into the gay ops, and he's still stuck with him. I guess the moral of the story is even when you're wrong, even when you fuck up, don't apologize. At least in the case of that shitbrick. I mean, this is a tangent, but anyway. But yeah, she's right about that. They can't cancel you if you don't let them. Carano's post about persecution, which shared an image from a different Instagram account, no longer appeared on her profile Friday, but screenshots of the post circulated widely on social media this week, fueling the Fire Gina Carano hashtag. And what's funny is they're trying to say that, but if you actually look at the post, because it's multiple posts, they're trying to use this one. It's multiple posts that they're trying to get her canceled for. It was like things like, we should have election security. It was, just milk toasty type things, which this is milk toast. It's like if you create an environment to dehumanize someone, I mean, not the subject matter, but how she presented it was milk toast. If you dehumanize someone, it allows you to do more and more things to them, shittier and shittier things, to where eventually, because they've been completely dehumanized, you can do things that you would not have a problem with. You would do things that normally you'd have a problem with anyone else. This is so sad. The actor has also provoked backlash for social media posts in which she ridiculed wearing masks during the coronavirus pandemic and endorsed baseless claims of voter fraud in the 2020 presidential election, which she never did that. What she said, and they actually go to the tweet. Hold on. Let's see what she said. We need to clean up the election process so we are not left feeling the way we do today. Put laws in place that protect us against voter fraud. Investigate every state. Film the counting. Flush out the fake votes. Require ID. Make voter fraud end in 2020. Fix the system. That's not what they're claiming there. Endorse baseless claims of voter fraud. She did not endorse any claims of voter fraud. She said she wants secure elections. Then we'll look at the ridiculed wearing mask one here. Okay. Look at this. Breaking news. Democratic government leaders now recommend we all wear blindfolds along with masks so we can't see what's really going on. It's called a fucking meme, you retards. Holy shit. It's basically calling out the retarded shit with the Democrats and ridiculed mask wearing. She didn't ridicule mask wearing. It was a meme that used a mask as a blindfold, but there was no direct ridiculing of it. I mean, this is how dishonest they are. And they're at a point where they don't care. They literally will take and put this and say she's pushing voter fraud, when you can read it and see for yourself. It's so sad. In the fall, Carano added the phrase "bebop boop" to her Twitter bio, which many critics interpreted as an insult against users who state they prefer gender pronouns. Complete bullshit. They came after her, demanded she post her fucking pronouns, and she said, I'm not going to do it. And they kept pushing and pushing and pushing. So her response was to do that. Why don't you report the truth, you sleazy scumbag piece of shit here? Huh? Why don't you report the truth, buddy? Why don't you report the truth, Daniel? Oh, I see why. Because you're a fat, disgusting slob of a soy boy fuckwit. I mean, look at him. That guy is has soy dripping from his pores, like Cenk Uygur has bacon grease oozing from him. I mean, this is ridiculous. She later appeared to deny that accusation, saying in a tweet that the phrase had zero to do with mocking trans people and was focused on exposing the bullying mentality of the mob that has taken over the voices of many genuine causes. Yes, because they were attacking her because she would not put she, her on her fucking bio. Okay, you're trying to make it about trans people because you seriously are looking for anything you can to attack her on. You sleazy soy boy bitch. Dude, I would call you that to your face. And watch you go like a woman and put your hand to your mouth and be like, oh my God, the horror. How dare you? I could see you doing that, you soy boy bitch. Wow. You scumbag. Dude, you know she could kick your ass, right? You know she could beat you within an inch of your fucking life. Actually, he'd probably like that, being the beta male, feminist ally male that he is. He probably would love that. He'd probably want her to stomp on his nuts and he'd be going, oh, yes. Actually, no, he's a soy boy. Oh, yes. That's a little more limp-wristy, but you get the idea. Anyway, Shapiro, for his part, has also drawn criticism for comments about transgender people. Oh, God, because now we got to bring in Benny Shapiro and show that the transgender haters are grouping together here. Oh, my God. And they had to go back to 2016 for this one. In a 2016 interview, he said in part that transgenderism is a mental disorder. He has defended Carano's social media post, saying a repair announcer from Lucasfilm was an example of cancel culture, because it is. All right, and this idea that transgenderism is not a mental disorder now, is a new fucking phenomenon. Because up until the last edition, the DSM-IV, it was listed as a mental fucking condition. But because of woke political, identity politics bullshit, the cultural Marxist crap, that allow for 65 genders and for you to be able to say, yeah, I'm going to chop my dick off and become a fucking broad and just, you get applause and attention and, become a focus of people's, saying how stunning and brave. All right. Because of that stuff, it got changed. It had nothing to do with the actual science. Oh, we're almost done here. Lucasfilm condemned her post Wednesday, saying Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there's no plans for her to be in the future. Yeah, but insiders, going to the whole Doomcock thing, are freaking the fuck out right now. And they ain't going to get her back. They've got so much backlash right now. Tons of people are canceling their Disney Plus, which is the only thing that they've really got to keep the company afloat right now. The only thing they've really got for Disney Plus that's a big draw for current users and for new ones is The Mandalorian. They're caving to the pressure and they're looking at the fact of how are we going to get her back. At least that's the rumors that are going on. I think they're fucked. I think that they screwed themselves with this one. All right. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrate people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. Bullshit. She never did that. This is such bullshit here. Because she didn't denigrate people based on their cultural and religious identities. You notice that they don't actually show any proof of this. Kathleen Kennedy's, sycophant-loving, lackeys. They make these bullshit fucking claims. I mean, from what I understand, Favreau and, the other guy working on Mandalorian with him are pissed about this situation. You got this, fucking child slap fight going on in Lucasfilm right now. All right? Over who's running the fucking show because Kathleen Kennedy ran it into the ground and Favreau had to be brought in to save the company. You get this child slap fight going on. Carano's getting dragged into this shit and they're using it as a fact of because she's a strong woman that doesn't fit the Kathleen Kennedy bullshit narrative. The Kathleen Kennedy camp made that fucking statement. Anyway, Carano, 38, appeared on the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian as Cara Dune, a former rebel trooper who had become a marshal for the New Republic on the show. The Daily Wire did not announce details about its film project with her, but the outlet's article about the deal said she would produce and star in the project. Yeah, and they're freaking out because they don't know what this is. They don't know if this is going to be like a little tiny little production type thing or if this is going to be something bigger. They don't know what the hell's going on here because she's now outside the sphere of Hollywood. She's doing her own thing. She came out of the fucking pile of shit that they threw on her, smelling like a rose and looking like she was freshly showered. They're not liking this at all. And all I got to say is, hopefully people will wake up to the fact that Holocaust, that claim of a Holocaust comparison being made is complete bullshit. But yeah. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm leaving things here.
If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.